Stop guessing and start observing. The truth is that most men are completely blind to the reality of the situation because they are listening to what a woman says instead of watching what she actually does. You are likely missing dozens of green lights every single day simply because you don't know what you are looking for. Attraction is not something that happens entirely in a woman's conscious mind. It is a raw biological reaction that leaks out through her physical movements, whether she wants it to or not. She might be trying to play it cool, acting distant, or keeping her words professional. But her body is broadcasting a completely different message. This isn't about mind games or trying to decipher hidden codes. It is about understanding the basic, hardwired language of human attraction. A woman will rarely tell you outright that she is interested, but she will show you with her posture, her proximity, and the way she positions herself when she thinks no one is watching. These physical cues are involuntary, which means they are almost impossible to fake. When you learn to spot them, you stop being the guy who is constantly confused, and you start becoming the man who is always in the loop. In the next few minutes, I am going to break down the 5 most critical physical signals that tell you exactly how a woman feels about you. These are the indicators that prove she is already interested, even if she is actively trying to hide it or keep things casual. You need to pay absolute attention to these details because they are the difference between waiting around for a sign that may never come and knowing exactly when to move forward. This is high-level awareness that puts you in the driver's seat. Stick with me because the signal I've placed at number 1 is the most powerful, undeniable indicator of deep, genuine attraction that exists. Once you know this, you will never have to wonder if she wants you again. The neck is arguably the most overlooked and powerful indicator of genuine attraction. Most men walk right past this signal because they are too focused on her face or her words. But her neck is where her subconscious intent really comes out to play. Think about how many times you've seen her tilt her head to the side while you're speaking, or watch her tuck her chin slightly towards her shoulder. These aren't just random movements or ways to get comfortable. They are calculated biological displays. By exposing her neck, she is performing an ancient primal action that signals she is letting her guard down completely. Biologically speaking, the neck is one of the most vulnerable and sensitive parts of the human body. It houses vital pathways that we are hardwired to protect at all costs. And we instinctively hide it when we are around people we don't fully trust or feel comfortable with. When a woman brushes her hair aside, runs a hand along her hairline, or tilts her head to expose that smooth line of skin to you, she is effectively telling her own lizard brain that you are a safe haven. It is a gesture of total surrender. She is voluntarily moving from a defensive state to a receptive one because her instincts have already processed your presence and decided that you are someone she wants to be close to. If you catch her doing this, understand that it is happening on a deep instinctual level that she probably isn't even aware of herself. She isn't thinking, I'm going to expose my neck to show him I like him. It is an automatic reaction that happens the moment she feels that spark of desire. It's her way of saying she trusts you enough to stop protecting herself. When you see her hair move to the side or her chin tucked in, stop talking for a second and just take it in. She's not just being cute or fidgeting. She is telling you through her body language that she views you as both a safe space and a person she finds deeply desirable. Once you start noticing this, you'll realize it happens far more often than you think, and it's a massive green light that the connection is already there. If you want to know exactly where you stand with a woman, stop looking at her face and start looking at her torso. The belly is, without question, the most honest part of her body because it is the region she is biologically hardwired to protect. Think about it. Our internal organs are soft and defenseless. When a woman is around someone she doesn't know well, someone she doesn't quite trust, or someone she isn't interested in, her subconscious goes into shield mode. You will see her cross her arms tightly over her chest, clutch her handbag firmly against her stomach, or hold a drink like a barricade. She is physically creating a wall, telling you with her body that she is not ready to let you in. She is keeping herself guarded, and that lack of openness is a clear signal that she is keeping you at a distance. However, the moment that wall drops, you have your answer. When a woman is genuinely attracted to you, she will do the exact opposite of those defensive behaviors. Watch her closely. She will physically angle her torso directly toward you, turning her chest and stomach in your direction. She will drop her guard by uncrossing her arms, tucking her bag away, or setting her drink down to clear the path between you. She is no longer trying to protect herself because her brain has decided that you are a safe person to be around. And more than that, someone she wants to be close to. By exposing her midsection and removing those physical barriers, she is making an open invitation for you to step into her space. This transition from closed off to open is one of the most powerful displays of trust and desire you will ever see. It is a massive, unspoken green light that screams she is ready to connect. She isn't just standing near you. She is intentionally positioning herself to receive your attention. When she stops shielding her core and leans into the space between you, it's proof that the internal wall is down. She is comfortable, she is interested, and she has subconsciously cleared the way for you to move closer. When you see her body language open up like this, recognize it for what it is, a direct physical signal that she is inviting you in, and that the tension she might be playing off is actually replaced by a deep desire to be near you. The way you initiate touch speaks volumes, and most men get it completely wrong by playing it too safe. When you reach for a woman's arm, her shoulder, or even her hand, you are operating in what I call public zones. These are areas that friends, acquaintances, and even strangers touch every single day without a second thought. It is the safe, non-threatening, and socially neutral approach that keeps you firmly in the friend zone. But the lower back? That is an entirely different game. The lower back is a private, intimate zone that a woman only grants access to when she feels a deeper, more profound sense of connection with you. When you place your hand there, whether you're guiding her through a crowded room, helping her navigate a tight space, or simply walking behind her, you are stepping across a boundary that most other men are too timid to touch. The beauty of this signal is that it tells you exactly where you stand without you having to ask a single question. The moment your palm makes contact with her lower back, you need to be hyper aware of her immediate subconscious reaction. A woman who is not interested or who feels uncomfortable will often exhibit a subtle micro-flinch. She might stiffen up, pull away just an inch to create distance, or subconsciously adjust her posture to break that contact. If you see that, take the hint. She is not ready and she is putting a barrier back up. But pay close attention to the opposite reaction, because that is where the magic happens. When you guide her and she doesn't just tolerate your touch, but actually leans into it, she is giving you the absolute green light. That slight lean is the most honest piece of feedback you will ever get. It means she wasn't just okay with the touch, she was waiting for it. She is signaling that she feels secure enough with you to lower her defenses and allow you into her personal space. It isn't aggressive and it isn't desperate. It is confident, masculine, and deliberate. By allowing you to lead her with your hand on her lower back, she is effectively saying, I trust you, I want you close, and I am comfortable with you taking the lead. When she leans into that touch, she is essentially inviting you to move even closer. Stop second-guessing if you should be bolder and start paying attention to how she responds to your touch. That simple, silent interaction is the most reliable barometer of her desire that you will ever possess. If you want to know what a woman is thinking, stop listening to her words and start looking at her feet. It sounds strange, but your feet are the most honest part of your body. Think about it. When you're in a conversation you don't want to be in, what do? You unconsciously angle your toes toward the nearest exit or doorway. You are physically preparing your body to make an escape before your mind even consciously decides to leave. Women do exactly the same thing. Because foot positioning is controlled entirely by the subconscious, it is virtually impossible to fake. A woman can smile at you, nod her head, and keep up a polite conversation. But if her feet are pointed away from you, she is already mentally checked out and looking for a way to leave. On the other hand, when a woman is genuinely fascinated by you and fully invested in the conversation, her feet will betray her true feelings instantly. She won't just be facing you with her shoulders. Her toes will be locked onto your position as if they were magnets. This is what we call attentional alignment. Even if she's standing in a group of people, even if there's a distraction across the room, if her feet are pointing directly at you, she is fully engaged. She is physically orienting herself toward the source of her interest, which is you. This isn't a conscious choice she's making to be polite. It's a biological, hardwired reaction that shows you have her complete and undivided attention. This is the ultimate lie detector for human interaction. You don't need to ask her if she's having a good time, and you don't need to wonder if you should keep talking or move on to something else. All you have to do is take a quick, casual glance downward. If her feet are pointed directly at you, the energy is mutual and the connection is strong. If you notice her feet slowly rotating toward the exit, it's a signal that the conversation has run its course. Watch the feet, and you will never again be the guy who overstays his welcome or misreads a situation. It really is that simple. And once you start training your eyes to look for this, you'll never miss it again. This is the ultimate non-negotiable indicator of attraction. And honestly, most guys are too intimidated or distracted to even notice it's happening right in front of them. The inner thighs are the most private, protected, and intimate zone of a woman's entire body. Because this area is so biologically sensitive and deeply linked to her reproductive instincts, the way she manages it when she is around you is a dead giveaway of her true intentions. When a woman is feeling closed off, uninterested, or is simply not vibing with the energy of the moment, she will instinctively create a physical barrier. She'll sit with her legs crossed as tightly as possible, or she'll turn her knees away from you, shielding herself and effectively saying, "I am not available to you." It is an intentional protective posture that says she is keeping her guard up. But watch what happens when the dynamic shifts and she actually starts to want you. The moment her interest peaks, her body begins to override her conscious control. Without even thinking about it, she will naturally uncross her legs. She'll shift her weight, open her posture, and, most tellingly, she will leave a small, inviting gap between her inner thighs, keeping her knees pointed directly toward you. She isn't doing this to play games, and she certainly isn't doing it to be subtle. It is a raw, involuntary biological response that occurs when she feels safe enough to let her guard down and feels enough attraction to want to bridge the gap between your two bodies. She's essentially lowering the drawbridge. When you see her legs uncross and that gap open up, understand that the chase is effectively over. You don't need to perform. You don't need to try to impress her with fancy lines, and you certainly don't need to keep working hard to get her attention. If you see this sign, it means she is already yours. She has already decided that she wants to be close to you. At this point, any further performing is actually counterproductive. The deal is already done, and she is waiting for you to simply lean in and claim the space. Recognizing this sign is the difference between being a guy who is perpetually stuck in the guessing game and a man who knows exactly when the connection is sealed. Once you master the art of noticing these small subconscious physical truths, you will never again have to wonder where you stand. Stop obsessing over her words or analyzing her text messages. Words are easy to fake, and games are simple to play. But her body never lies. Once you learn to filter out the noise and start watching what she actually does, you stop being the guy who is constantly confused and start becoming the man who is always in control. You don't need to beg for attention. You don't need to guess if she likes you. And you certainly don't need to perform for anyone. All you have to do is pay attention to the truth she is already showing you. The man who waits for permission will always lose to the man who knows what to look for. So maintain your self-respect and stop sacrificing your focus on signals that don't matter. If you are ready to stop guessing and start mastering the reality of your interactions, you need to be the first to know when our next deep dive insight drops. Hit that subscribe button right now to ensure you don't miss the content that is going to sharpen your edge and change the way you see the world. Don't just watch, take action, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.